Do you have your Christmas shopping done, Paul Wagner? How about you?
No, I do not.
No, Wags. Come on, man.
So I guess I'll start this. And, it's been, we've undertaken a lot of projects, as we've all talked about at the house. And so because I know Sherry won't be up at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, I can probably talk about this. She'll just listen to the podcast next week at some point.
And she'll go, what?
Yeah. And so I was trying to figure out what to do for her this year because, we kind of just we're at that age where if we need something, we just go get it.
Right.
And, we just kind of put together Christmas lists for little small ideas of things here and there and whatever. Well, we had recently started working on redoing our dining room, or like formal dining room, I guess. And we did wallpaper on one wall and we're working on painting everything. So for the longest time, I'd been talking about making her a shelf that was like, well, originally it was going to be like one of those little like cubby shelves, like a 4x4 square where you can put like coffee mugs in it and whatever. Right. Well, she was at a farmer's market and she bought one of those. And I thought, okay, well, now I don't know what I'm doing for Christmas. So I actually spent yesterday building a wine rack for her that will eventually stain or paint or whatever. And so while she was at work and I was off, I spent time in the workshop making a wine rack for her that's like 3 feet wide. There's little like slots underneath so you can hang wine glasses. And then I think it'll hold 9 bottles of wine.
I build one of those too, Wags. I do mine with a keyboard and a credit card.
You have no idea how many times I thought about that
card.
And thought it would have just been easier. But I've got all these tools now, and she just keeps letting me buy tools, so I might as well put them to use. And
well, if she's letting you buy the tools, you better be making something.
I better be making something.
Because, as you know, Wags, that conversation changes to, why do you have so many tools that you rarely use, right?
Yeah.
Remember that wine rack I built for you?
Yeah.
That's why.
It'll forever be that now. It'll forever be that
build
now.
me something else with all those tools you've been, piling up in your workshop there, Eric. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So, Wags, no excuse for you why you don't have your shopping done, my friend.
Well, I don't have, like, I've gone to the, I've used the old Amazon route. I did. Not everything has come in.
Hey, don't
That's
be
why
ashamed
I'm
by
scared.
that, man. I would say 95% of my presents were. We talked about this, was it last week or 2 shows ago? You need to get separate accounts.
Yes.
I did that. I did it.
You did do that. Okay. All right.
The family membership. I'm telling you, what a deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But when it says, I hate getting this notification. Only one item here that I've got from my daughter. It's supposed to come on December 17th. Now it got pushed back to December 20. That's the only thing I worry about. My shopping, I should say technically, is done and complete, but I do not have items in hand right now.
So let's transition back. Sometimes we have to always spin this show back to what it's about, which is about being in the outdoors and hunting and fishing and that kind of stuff. Last week we talked about weather. Mm-hmm. And as we sit back and we look at the week, Thursday, here it came. We got our first taste of snow. You guys, did you guys do some hunting last weekend? You were supposed to.
We did.
Reports? There's a long pause here.
Well,
did you make it
3
into
days?
The woods?
3 days. Yes, 3 days in a row. And I really don't even know how to go about this because I know that this is. I know it's just poor preparation.
Foggy, though. It was foggy. It was foggy.
Yeah, it was.
I think the story of my year has just been. I should be better prepared than I always am. With the fish, slicing open my thumb, not being prepared for that. I had taken my rifle in to get sighted in at a local place, I won't say where. And I think what they did is they just did like the bore sighting. So I don't know that they actually like fired any rounds through it.
Were you on Wag's property?
Yes.
Didn't you have a monumental miss already on Wag's property?
Well, I shot at a turkey farther than what I should have.
Right, when you came back, if I remember it right, people were questioning what you were shooting at.
Yeah, they thought that there was the cartel was running through Wags property and I was fending off the invaders.
Neighbors thought I had a trap shooting contest.
I know. Okay. All right. So, the first day I go out only with my bow.
You remember that, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the point where Wags will let me come back again.
Boy.
So
Wags, there are two other guys. There's another guy in the show. You know what I'm saying?
It's you're up, next man up. They say, right?
Well, that's right.
You shot.
Skip, give me the ball. That's all I'm saying. Skip, give me the ball.
So I go out the first day and. Sure enough, just they read the script perfectly. As Wags said, they come out 3 o'clock, 3:05, 3:15, like clockwork. And all of a sudden, I look up. There's a couple deer out there, and Wags has said it numerous times. There's a lot of nub bucks out there. Just make sure you have your binos. Make sure you know what you're shooting at. There's one doe that is substantially larger than the rest. She's the one that we got to go after because she's very curious of the redneck. Okay, the blind,
right.
Me, the redneck, whatever. Yeah. So she came in, and I only had my bow the first day, and she never came in inside of 40 yards. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, could I take that shot? Yeah. If she walks in closer, I would prefer to do that. So I waited. She ended up turning around.
And she'll circle around. Tim, you got to picture this. She'll go downwind, and then she'll look at you. Then she'll come around at that 40 to 50-yard mark, and then she'll look back at you. And I have blackout drapes on the back. Mm-hmm. But if you see on a perfect angle, you can actually see through it. And she'll literally, I don't know where Task was. I wasn't in with them, but I guarantee you she got to that angle and she looked through the side to see if she could see something moving. But anyway, she's a smart one. And that's why I said you have to take her. So now I'll let him continue the story.
So she ended up walking back out, and Wags is like, I see she's looking over her shoulder at you on the trail camera. And I'm like, yeah, well, she's also at 58 yards, so I can't shoot.
If you really blow up the image, you see her tongue sticking out at you as
well. Yeah. So first day, nothing. Second day that I came out, that was that Saturday. It was sleeting basically all afternoon. And I'm like, okay, well, shoot. Okay, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe they'll bed down, whatever. So I saw no animals that day. No squirrels, no birds, nothing.
All right, so distance and Mother Nature so far in 2 days.
And then Mother Nature came into play on the third day. Wag sends me a message at 1 o'clock, and he's like,
help?
They're in early. And I'm like, okay, I'm dropping everything. I'm changing, and I'm on my way right now.
Okay.
So I get out there, and it was super, super foggy on Sunday, if you remember that. We had 2 days.
A lot of turkeys, right?
Yeah. So I'm sitting there, and it's 2:15, and I don't know, Wags, what was it? A dozen turkeys, a dozen Toms and Jakes came out and just were there for a half hour. Keep in mind, I've never shot a turkey. And it was...
Well, you've tried.
I shot at a turkey. I've never shot a turkey. And I thought to myself, this would be a cakewalk. I could do this. I could easily do that. It's at 10 yards in front of me. There's 7 of them. I could shoot a couple birds here. So I didn't, and I thought if I shot, I would blow the field out for the afternoon, and really what I'm here for is a deer. So a half hour later, now going back to my rifle at deer camp this year, we always shoot beforehand, and after it being sighted in, I thought we were going to be good to go. Well, both mine and my dad's rifles were off 8 inches and 8 inches. 8 inches right, 8 inches low. So we kind of fine-tuned it. We got it a little closer. So I know that I need to shoot high and left of my target to hit where I want to hit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'm buying a new scope. I just have to do something different here. So deer walks out. She's at probably 50 yards, quartering away from me. I'm like, here we go.
Money.
She's going to start banging away. I put it right so she's facing left. So I put it at...
He's already cutting up that deer, folks, in your mind.
At that point, I was.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I So I put it at like kind of where the neck meets the back, so we're high and left of where we need to be. Mm-hmm. Rip off a shot. Her front shoulder kind of buckled, and she like, I don't know, kind of ran off with like as if she was hit. So I got out. I was filming and I reviewed the footage. Well, it's so foggy, it's like impossible to even see. But she looks like she kind of tucked up her shoulder. So I get out, I call Wags. I'm like, hey, I just shot. I don't know. She ran off, but I'll wait a little bit and I'll get out. So Wags is still at coaching camp on Sundays. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know. So I get out, I go out, and I see just a huge pile of deer crap. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's a good sign. No hair, no blood. I'm thinking, okay, it's super wet out here, so blood is probably not going to be really something that we're looking for at this point. And it would be nice to see hair. Well, I went out, I looked a little bit, I saw nothing, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. I guess it'll be easier if Wags is here. I can just come back in the morning, we'll look together, and we'll kind of grid search the property. So I go back in the morning, we saw nothing. Wags found, what was it, a 10 or an 11 pointer from a couple years ago that was in mint condition still. No squirrel, no nothing. So it was a good recovery day, but no deer found for me. So yesterday Wags sends me trail camera photos of this deer, and there's we can't really tell, but it looks like the back of her elbow was hit, which if you can like imagine a deer's like outline, that should have been a good shot. But maybe it was the angle of her angling away and as high up as I was that maybe it just missed everything, but there was still no hair. So I really honestly don't know what happened.
So I can relate to that a little bit, Wags, in that on the family farm, same kind of scenario, except mine was a buck.
Okay.
And I shot, deer jumped, and took off. And I searched, and the way that our woods it's a big, you get over by La Crosse, you got the bluffs, and you got a lot of hills and that type of stuff. So it looked like we tracked it like it went to the top of the hill. So we went up there, couldn't find it, looked all over the place. My dad said something to me at that time that I'll never forget. I was very frustrated, pretty good-sized buck. He said, don't give up on it, because he said typically what happens is that eventually they'll come back to where they got shot. They just do. It's their home area, their home thing. And so about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's just starting to get dark. And I'm so frustrated because, this was like at 9 o'clock this morning and, this buck and everything else. And I don't shoot a lot of them. And I saw one. So I'm walking back. And we had to walk around. I took one last lap around the big hill we had on our property. And about probably 50 yards from where I shot at that buck, it's laying under a pine tree. And I had broken its leg.
Okay.
And it's sitting under the pine tree looking at me.
And, like, you idiot.
Finish this.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, put me out of my misery.
And I did. I did. But the thing is that two things. One, as you're telling me this, I'm saying to myself, I know you call Wags wanted to go back the next day, but man, I would have stuck after it. Yeah. I would have kept looking for Wags. How about you?
Yeah, but it was like when you called me.
I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. I'm just
the weather didn't permit for it. The weather didn't permit for it. So then when he sent me the video, he didn't she didn't mule kick or anything like that. So we don't know exactly what happened. It wasn't like on the video. It didn't look like, oh, that's a death shot. It was kind of foggy, misty. It was a tough call. So going back and not worrying about, it was about 32 degrees. So. I mean, but she would have lasted. We would have found her in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she was dead, we'd find her. But you say that, it's funny you say that about circling around right away. The buck that I found, I shot him 2 years ago. And if you really look at it, it'd probably take you 12 seconds to walk to where, but he didn't go that way. He took off to the north. And he ended up coming, it's funny you said that, he circled back, and I told Gasker, Yep, right underneath, buried between a thorn bush and a berry bush.
Yep.
Deep in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, when we were looking for that doe, I said, to myself, I'm like, I found a shed. I pulled up the shed, and all of a sudden, underneath all the grass, the whole skull comes out. I'm like, no way. And no mice, nothing.
Crazy.
A little bit of green mold on the skull, but it was a nice buck that I lost.
Another year. What is you keep track of the podcast count? What are we up to now?
I don't know offhand, but I bet it's probably I think we're 175.
Ooh.
174, 175.
Keep fooling
Tasker, Timmy, we fooled the guy in charge. Oh, that's right. The guy in charge is right across.
That's right.
Yeah.
We fooled him again.
Yes, that's right. And, the crazy thing about it is that I was just supposed to fill in until we found somebody else, and I'm still here. So, but anyway, no. You know what? Truly, it's been it's a lot of fun for me. To be in with you guys, because my background and where I grew up and that type of stuff. Yep. And, my life has changed so much, but that I'm not able to do as much as I once did. But it's a huge part of me. And
you're a broadcaster.
Well, yeah, but my point is that I'm however it happened, I'm glad I'm here. Yeah. Because it rekindles a lot of memories and stuff that I just, I miss.
Yeah.
And that's part of the thing, too. Yeah, and when you get to the end of the year, you always sit there and go reflect upon the year and what you're going to try to do better, going forward. And one of the things that my wife and I have had that conversation many times. She's like, you need a hobby. You need to do something else besides what you do, what you love. I mean, like with Wags, with you and baseball, man, that's what you love. That's what you crave. That's what you do. That's what you're identified by. But as you've said in the show and shared, there's part of you that was kind of envious because you saw other family members that were out doing the hunting and fishing and that kind of stuff. And I'm glad that you kind of let me in the club here as we look into 25 and put some things together. And we've talked about big plans that we have for the show going forward and some things like that. So, but again, I think first and foremost, though, we need to thank all the listeners out there.
Yeah.
Because, negativity doesn't help anybody. And luckily, there's been virtually no negativity on this show.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we dabble in some controversy, but for the most part, we keep it above board.
I think we get the free pass. Because if anybody's listening and instead of getting upset, they just go, they're just a bunch of idiots.
Nobody takes this guy serious. What's the difference?
This guy's on a Saturday morning, just kind of hanging out, talking about stuff. Wags is still doing his Christmas shopping. You and I are pretty much done. If you are looking for last-minute stocking stuffer ideas, our friends at Bunzel's, who we bring them in every week and talk about all the great things. If you're in need, they're there to help you out.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got somebody in your family that loves, hot sticks or summer sausage or any of those things, or if you're tapped to bring the cheese and sausage platter for the holidays this year, there's still time to get in there. They're still open here a couple days between now and the actual holidays, and just run on in there. I mean, they've got so many different things that are kind of ready to go, but they've also got prepackaged, hot sticks and some of that stuff. And if you need something special, they'll probably whip it up for you on the spot and get you on your way. So but yeah, and then they've always got, all their meat deals and some of that stuff that you could always gift. I mean, and if you're really looking for something, or if somebody really loves Bunzel's, you can buy yourself some Bunzel's merch, sweatshirts, hats.
You get a gift certificates,
right? Any of that stuff, which is super easy to do. But just a huge thank you to Bunzel's for being a part of the show again this year and into next year. It's going to be, I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about what they've got going on, and hopefully we have some sampling opportunities again here in the near future.
Well, that was a fun
show.
That would be up to you to pull that off.
I know. Yeah, I know. Well,
I know.
I think when I walked in this morning, I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, so I feel comfortable saying this out loud. But when I walked into the office this morning, I saw a couple people, and I'm like, I've just really checked out for the year. A lot of people are burning vacation time, and I mean, Tim, you've obviously got a lot with Packers, so you don't get that luxury. But it's
By the way, speaking of that, so Zabe and Butch are basically done between now and the end of the year, right? And so every once in a while, I'll fill in for the guys.
Yeah.
Like I filled in for Drew and KB this week. So Christmas Eve, I'm like, you know what? I don't really want anybody to come in early if they don't have to, so I'll just do it. And then it dawned on me 2 days later, after the schedules went out, that the Packers play on December 23rd. I will not leave this building until about 1:15. So I ran into our buddy Scott Dolphin, and I'm lamenting what I did. He goes, you know those couches over in the performance lounge? They're really comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Bring a blanket and a pillow.
You know what? You are not the first person that would do that, and you are definitely not the last.
No. So one of Wag's favorite publications, I don't know if it is Men's Health.
Okay.
Is it Men's Health, one of your favorite publications? It's Field and Stream. It's Outdoor Life. I don't even know if those exist anymore.
Field and Stream is back.
And Men's Health.
Field and Stream. Okay. Yep. Eric Church and Morgan Wallen started it up again.
Oh, there you go. All right. Magazines and tequila or vodka, whatever they've got, brandy. So here's a list, according to menshealth.com, of the top, well, they have it, it's the top 30. I'm just going to do the top 5. Outdoors hunting enthusiast gifts for Christmas. Okay. Now, when I looked at this, some make sense to me, Wags. Some I'm kind of scratching my head about. Okay. So we'll start with number 5. Number 5 is the Legacy 6-bottle beer caddy.
Ooh.
Okay. Beer caddy makes sense to me. It says this beer caddy will transport cold snacks into the woods with ease and includes a handy opener. Okay, I'm okay with that. You good with that, Wags? Okay.
Yeah, you put the beer caddy in the left hand, and in your right arm you have your rifle that's loaded and ready to go.
Well, or you can put in your hunting golf cart, my friend. It'll fit in there very conveniently.
Yes.
Number 4 on the list of menshealth.com's top gift ideas for hunter or outdoorsman. Number 4, hunting socks.
Okay.
Yep.
Hunting socks.
Are they the ones that say, like, I love hunting on the bottom of them?
I'd rather be hunting.
I'd rather be hunting.
Yes.
Sherry bought me those like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I still have them.
All right. Number 3 on this list, I like this one. The Zippo hand warmer. Zippo lighters.
Yep.
Okay. The Zippo hand warmer. I like that idea.
Yep.
It comes in the classic chrome edition, by the way. Number 2 on this list, the Energizer LED lantern.
I saw that on a couple of those lists.
With a 650-hour runtime, this lantern can be used for many outings without having to worry that it will lose its charge. Whenever I see this, I think back to my youth and the Coleman lantern.
Yep.
That had the handle you had to pump. And it was gas. You screwed the tank in on the bottom.
Yeah.
If you put too much gas in it, because remember, the 2 bags are underneath.
Right.
You had to stick it up and light it.
Yep.
How many times did someone have that glass cover explode because you had too much gas in it?
Yeah.
That's old school. Yeah, that would, could you imagine that nowadays?
Yeah,
no
not
chance.
nowadays. Number 1 on this list. I was thinking about you, Wags, because you were talking about duck hunting and the fact that, you know, your idea of duck hunting is just sitting on the shore, right? The Moon Fence lightweight folding chair. Here you go. Just for you, Paul Wagner.
You know, it's funny, though. I'm looking at this same list. I'm surprised it doesn't. Maybe it does come in camouflage, but the one that I'm seeing is just black.
Yeah, that was number 1 on the list, yes.
Let's see.
Yeah, what else is in the top 10? The Meat Eater Fish and Game Cookbook. Let's see here. The Fire Gear Universal Gun Cleaning Kit Supplies. That made the top 10. Rechargeable electric heated socks. And rounding out the top 10, another cooler, and the Thunder Fit silicone wedding rings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something that Paul Wagner will not have on his Christmas wish this year.
You know, I think that a lot of these lists are pretty much the same thing. There's coolers, there's hunting knives, there's electric socks, there's beer caddies. There's the silicone wedding rings, which are now a big thing. There's phone cases. I feel like a lot of them are all pretty much the same.
I love the cookbook idea.
That is a great idea.
How about you, Ed? Do you like the cookbook? I mean, to you, what would be the perfect gift? Would it be a bag chair, as we talked about?
Yeah, I did. I got one of them for turkey, not for my duck hunting, but I have one for turkey. And I don't see the picture because I'm not there, but it's got it folds up. It's but it's got 3-inch legs. So you're right underneath. You're sitting basically on the ground. I like that. The cookbooks and stuff, I'm kind of on I'm set in my ways. Whatever I have, whether it be whitetail, whether it be turkey, pheasant, duck, goose, I don't really veer off the main path. This is the way I like it. I'm too old to experiment, and this is what I do.
That's funny. I did that 2 years ago. So my brother-in-laws, one is a big hunter, one travels with his trailer all the time. So I got them each cookbooks for that. And they absolutely loved it because they're very similar to you, Eggs, in the sense that, they're kind of stuck in their ways with what they like and they know what they like and they've got recipes that are great for them. But every once in a while, maybe you have a really good year and you've got 2 or 3 deer in the freezer and you need something just to change it up a little bit. It's excellent for that. And then my other brother-in-law who, travels and they camp a ton with their RV, he's like, this is so great because it's a bunch of like the pudgy pie recipes and just different easy things for camping with the kids. It just makes it so much more fun for them because it's something that's different. It's something that's interactive for the kids to do. And it obviously doesn't take up a ton of space. So it's easy to just pack away. And when you need something, you can just pull up a recipe and run to the grocery store quick.
There you go. I don't know if you guys saw this story that came out this week. We had talked about crane hunting.
Yeah.
Is it going to happen? OutdoorNews.com reported this week that the committee gives green light to this.
No.
Following a series of meetings during the past 5 months, the Legislative Council Study Committee on Sandhill Crane's WAGs approved a proposed bill that creates some relief for farmers and offers the opportunity for a Wisconsin sandhill crane hunting season. Committee was composed of a bipartisan group of legislators, farmers, along with hunting and non-hunting conservation organizations. So it sounds like everybody had a seat at the table, and they all agreed that they have a problem here.
Yeah.
So my question is that I think now, after I read this, there's probably going to be some sort of hunting season. But what it's going to be, it's not going to be like a turkey season where it's open to everybody.
It's probably going to be a lottery.
Yes.
Or you probably have to get points.
Or would it be more of a landowner thing, Wags? Where, you know what I'm saying? Like you, for example, if you can show that you have a sandhill crane problem, could you apply for, a sandhill crane
crop damage tag,
something like that? Yeah,
maybe.
Don't we have something like that for?
We have it for bear.
Bear, yeah. Do they do something like that for wolves or for? Because haven't they talked about that, coyotes or something like that in Wisconsin?
Yeah, well, and coyotes are open under the small game license,
right?
Yeah,
and they're open year round, I believe, right, Wags?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I think a lot of people usually spend like that January, February, March kind of time frame calling them in, because they're super active then. Foraging and trying to find, food sources. Yeah, that would be really interesting just to see what would end up happening there. But boy, Wags, I got a spot for us to go if that's the case.
Yeah.
Well, I just looked this up quick. Wolf hunting in Wisconsin, as I'm reading this, is illegal because they're on the federal endangered species list. Now, Wisconsin law requires the DNR to allow wolf hunting and trapping if wolves are delisted from that list. However, the DNR has been working on a management plan in case wolves are delisted.
Yeah.
The management plan recommends a statewide population of about 1,000 wolves. The plan also includes zones around reservations where hunting would be limited. It says if you suspect wolves are threatening livestock, pets, or hunting dogs, you can contact the USDA Wildlife Services. I just thought it was interesting that, with the Sandhill Crane population, that there may be a chance for you to bag the ribeye of the sky, as they like to call it.
So the way you say that is kind of interesting, because maybe your theory or that plan of attack may work, because the bear tag preference points, you get that. I'm not sure if you'd consider it the same, but let's just say we're going to go with that same format. You get a preference point for that, and then the farmers get agriculture tags. So we get ag tags up north, and those farmers get ag tags. How they apply for them and how they're rewarded or awarded, I'm not sure. But I know that at one time, one of the farmers that we deal with up there has lost, he says that a bear can eat almost 1,500 to 1,700 pounds of corn. And these ag tags, when you get an ag tag, you don't need to use your preference points, but I believe you have to buy a Class B bear license. I'm not familiar with how it works, but there is a formula. There is a way to do it, and that may be the way hunting sandhill cranes becomes indoctrinated into our hunting yearly hunts.
Well, but it appears, at least as I read this story, they're taking baby steps towards it, which is a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe so, because until those farmers union or those lobbyists came in, it was the big money from, the Sandhill Crane lovers that, want to go take pictures out there, and nothing against it, but they want to go sit in the ponds and take pictures of them where, not realizing what damage they actually do to the farmers. And now it's come to the point where something's got to be done.
Yeah. And I think that is just, that's really crazy, the number of those, but if the population is in fact increasing by 20% every year for the Sandhill Cranes, they have to have a plan. There's no way that they can get away with it for even a couple years. If we're looking at 110 or 130,000 this year, we're looking at almost 150 next year, 180 the year after that. It's going to continuously grow at an exponential rate with no harvest. And like we've talked about many times, you never see them on the side of the road. They're so evasive when it comes to vehicles that they don't even want to be on the road. And it's not like, deer, you see deer all the time that are car kills.
Welcome back to Tailgate Talk. Tim Scott, Eric Tasker, Paul Wagner as well. And during the break, Wags said, hey, don't forget to talk about thin ice, because snow covers thin ice. You know what I flash back to? I flash back to when I broke my ribs on the ice. And you know why? Because we had lots of snow on the ground. And my son said to me, Dad, come out, because when we had the lake place in Portage, he was about probably 25, 30 yards, maybe 50 yards offshore. Okay. And he had the tip-ups out. Well, we had a heavy snow that day. And I was out in the front of the house with the snowblower cleaning a path for us to get out. So I walk in the back. I don't put I just had my Sorels on. I didn't put my ice cleats on underneath, right? So I'm going through the snow, and there's probably, 4, 5, 6 inches of snow on the ground. And when I stepped off from the bank down to the lake, the water had splashed up, and it created an ice, what do you call it, like an ice ramp, not a dam, but an ice ramp. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I stepped through the snow, and I hit that baby. And then my son picks up the story. He goes, Dad, it was like you were airborne. You were about 2 feet in the air, flat as a board.
The 182nd Airborne Division.
Yeah, and then you landed on your back. And my wife looked through the window, and she picks up the story, and she goes, for a moment, I thought you had a heart attack as hard as you went down. No. Thanks, hon. So thanks for that. Thanks for, and to make a long story short, I ended up with 2 broken ribs out of the deal. Which I was miserable for about 3 months afterwards. But your point is well taken, Wags, that if you're going to go out and ice fishing, because now everybody ramps up, it's cold and that type of stuff, 2 things you got to check for. 1, if you're walking through the snow, make sure you take it slow. The other part is make sure the ice is thick enough, right?
Yeah. I saw Wags, I don't know how often you drive by Silver Lake, but I drove by. It was before we had.
Are there dudes out on Silver Lake?
It was before we had those couple warm days earlier in the week, and
I live right around the corner from that place. Yeah,
3 guys were out on the ice. So I have a buddy, John Resnick, that's going to join us after the first of the year. Just talk about that. He does a lot with clam outdoor, and I've been giving them updates, and I sent them something, and I'm like, it looks like there's a lot of water on top of the ice. That is enough for me to not be on the ice.
There was, if you're familiar with Madison in the Beltline, the Yahara River Bridge.
Yeah.
There was guys out there, Wags, 2 weeks ago.
Jeez.
They were out on the ice, and my wife is in the car with me, and she looked over, and I looked over, and I went, "Are you what?" And she goes, "Are those guys nuts?" I mean, again, you only need a few inches. I understand that of ice to support, but are you really jonesing that bad to ice fish that you have to go out and risk things? Here's the other thing, too, Wags, and you know this. Man, if you're out there with an ATV, a UTV, a vehicle, and that thing goes down, and they've got to come fish you out, not only is it expensive to fish you out, but then the DNR comes in with all their fines.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw just this week. They do it every year. I'm sure it's Western Lakes Fire Department and Rescue. They do their annual practice on the ice where they cut the big circle out and they do their cold water dives, and they do a lot of that. They must have done it the night before because it was roped off. They have their big caution tape and stakes that they stake it off. When I drove by in the morning, it was open water. It was an open water where that square was. When I got back that afternoon, it was already frozen over. So it's no secret that we're making ice pretty quick, especially when we get these really brisk days and we get these single-degree temps overnight. But I don't know. Just
remember when you tell me, just tell me when you say, "Paul, we're going to start ice fishing at 10 a.m. and I'm going to watch your tracks. And when I pull up at 10:30, I just wanted to make sure that it was safe. Because if I see you out there, I'll walk there. If I don't see you, I'll get back in my truck and call 911.
Well, I think that's where I'm the guinea pig then, right? Because I'm the big guy on the team here.
Hey,
so we'll send Tasker out first.
We'll send Tasker out first. If we hear any cracking, we'll turn around and walk back to the truck.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, Tim, can you come here? Help me carry this stuff. Tasker, keep going.
Yeah. Here's a big stick, Well, just hang on to this pole as you walk out. And in case you go under, we'll be ready. But again, we always talk about safety and planning ahead and stuff like that. And I think now, and I told you last week, I'm getting the ice fishing stuff ready to go. I'm still not going out till mid-January.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not worth it to me. I'm not that much of a diehard.
Yeah, I tell all my friends that are frustrated that I'm not as excited about ice fishing as them. Mm-hmm. Is I say I will freeze for deer. I will not freeze for fish. And I don't care if there's a heater and a shack and whatever. My hands are going to be really cold getting a fish out of the water. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm fine with being cold in the woods if I'm chasing deer. I'm totally good with that. And I don't care if you meet me at 6 o'clock in the morning with a bottle of blackberry brandy to try and entice me to get out there. Mm-hmm. It's still not going to be the same for me. I'll do it once or twice. I'll get out there. We're going to do it as a group. It'll be fun. I'd just rather freeze for deer.
Are we sitting on a 5-gallon bucket, or are we inside like a shanty? Because if we're in a shanty, I'll come out there and ice fish all day and drink and have a good time. If I'm sitting and freezing my ass off, on a 5-gallon bucket, I'm gonna have to pass.
What I'm going to tell you is that when I get everything set up, you guys will have no problem coming out.
So you've got a shack, you've got everything. Is it like the flip over?
I don't have a shack.
Okay.
I've got one of those very expensive clam big tents.
Okay.
I've got heaters.
Okay.
I've got the whole deal.
Yeah.
And there's a table, there's chairs, there's cards, there's cards.
Couch.
Cards? Cribbage board?
Yeah, we make a day of it. We do.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So we'll see.
Right, well, I'm in. I mean, I'm not afraid to do it.
Last year we debated whether we should do a show from the ice someplace.
Yeah, and then we had like a 3-day window that we could even get out there. So
maybe we'll make
this
that
year
happen.
will be different.
All right, so as we put a bow in the show for today and for the rest of the year as well, we'll start with you, Paul Wagner. What are you thankful for? What are you happy for? What are you looking forward to in the new year?
And when you were talking earlier in the show about your busy schedule, Tim, with the Badgers and Packers and all this and running back and forth and straightening up the goofballs we got on 97.3, and you got to put everything together. This gives you the time to reminisce about the things, past, grandpas and dads and stuff like that. And that's what I like about our show. Our show always comes back to thoughts and memories of the past. And if you can do that, even if you can get away even for a half an hour or 15 minutes and relieve yourself of all the daily things and just think about the good times, put a smile on your face and don't be sad. That's what's great.
How about you, Task?
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting year, and I think for me it's been nice to get the time that I've had with my dad in the woods. We spend a lot of time together as we're getting ready for the season, and we spend those 10 days together in October and for gun season and everything. And I think this year it was different. Wags, like you said, you start losing people and deer camp starts to not look the same. And then to bring my brother and my nephews up this year to kind of make that a new tradition, to kind of reinvigorate things and light things up and to make it exciting and to just create some of those new memories. I think those are the highlights for me. It's been no secret. I've talked about it very openly about what an unfortunate or bad luck streak that I've been on. But at the same time, there's still so many things to just be like, I'm glad that I have the opportunity to come out by the Wagner Ranch and to be able to do that a couple different times throughout the year and to be able to have the time and to be able to afford to do all these things. There's just so much that sometimes it is just really very small things that make up to be an accumulation of bigger things. And I guess the other thing that I would say is just all of the people that I've met, like through my social media handles and relationships and partnerships and things that I've established this year with, HHA is a great example of that. And there's more stuff to come with that in the new year, but it's, I don't know. Not my favorite year, I guess. I've had better years, but, life goes on and, we're trying to get a lot of things done around the house. So there's not as much time. And I don't know. You just kind of do what you can. And sometimes that's just enough.
I'm with you, Wags. And I'm a little bit like Butchie in the sense that, I share a little bit of my personal life on air, and we know that, Brian has shared a lot of the struggles that he's gone through with his son Blake and stuff like that. And, I was in another radio market, it was documented that in 2009 I lost my wife to cancer. And so what I've been doing the last 2 or 3 weeks is that my late wife, took a lot of pictures. I never realized how many pictures she took. Okay, and
it's always more than what you ever would think. I am
not exaggerating to you guys. That I have spent the last 2 weeks going through tubs of pictures. Huh. And these pictures were all in, you'd go to, Walgreens or Walmart, whatever, to get them developed, right? But these are, Tasker, these are pictures.
Right.
And I'm not exaggerating, thousands of pictures that I've gone through. And to your point, Wags, it reminded me about how fast life is and how fast things go. And, my dad is not in good health. And seeing him vibrant, healthy, my mom is getting up there in years, and seeing her when she was vibrant and healthy. And it just kind of reminds you that time is fleeting, man.
Yeah.
And, you have to, it's an old cliche, but man, you got to seize the moment.
Yeah.
You got to seize the day. You're going to have good years you love. There's going to be years you don't like. There's going to be people that, from a professional standpoint, we lost some people this year.
Yeah.
That were a huge part of us achieving success. And I can't thank those people enough.
Yeah.
For what they did to help us build and what we continue to build and grow here. So, my final thing is, like with you, Wags, is just, man, enjoy the day. If you have an opportunity, go do it. Don't think twice about it, because you never know when that opportunity maybe not exist anymore.
Right.
It just is.
And we've heard it. Yeah. And you hear it all the time. And what age does it come? What experience in life? When do you go from, I'm fearless, nothing can hurt me, screw you, I do what I want. Then all of a sudden it comes to that point in time, everybody's different when you stop getting the phone calls about, hey, Paul, we're having a baby. Hey, Paul, we're getting married. Hey, Paul, we're running over here. Now the phone calls are coming. Hey, Paul, I just want to let you know my dad passed away. And, he really liked you. And he really liked talking to this. Or my mom passed away. Or some. Now you get to that point, everybody's different, but all of a sudden it clicks. We've heard it for years and years and years, like you just said. But when does it happen to each individual? That time will come.